After reaching a peak on 10th October 2025 at $135.70, Litecoin experienced extreme volatility, crashing to a low on the very same day at $54.07. Market manipulation? Make your own mind up on that. But the bigger question now is this: what is Litecoin live price actually doing today? Because underneath the surface, the Litecoin chart is starting to reveal a much more interesting story. In this Litecoin LTC live trading analysis, we break down the key price action levels, Fibonacci zones, and swing trading setups you should be watching right now. This LTC live trading update covers support and resistance, market structure, and potential breakout scenarios so you can understand the current Litecoin market direction now. Let's begin. Back in January this year, Litecoin revisited that October 10th low, but importantly, the market failed to break lower. At the time, that potentially hinted that Litecoin might be trying to establish a larger base before eventually rotating back higher toward the October highs. However, the market then experienced two consecutive aggressive sell-off days on 5th and 6th February, and those two bearish candles completely changed the structure. Because the October 2025 low finally broke, and Litecoin formed a brand new structural low on 6th February at $42.26. So far, though, that low has remained completely intact and has not been retested, and that immediately gives us an important structural reference point for the market. Now, let's take a much closer look at Litecoin's current live price action. Like many crypto trading charts right now, February has continued dominating price action for almost 4 months. The February high was formed on 2nd February at $61.19. The February low, which we already discussed, was formed on 6th February at $42.26. That gives us a dominant range midpoint sitting at $53.23. And this midpoint is becoming extremely important because market structure often revolves around equilibrium levels like this. Above the midpoint, buyers generally begin reclaiming structural control. Below the midpoint, sellers usually maintain the advantage. So immediately, we can identify the major battleground area on the Litecoin chart. Now, during April and early May, Litecoin actually began forming a relatively constructive base structure. The market slowly stabilized and eventually pushed higher into the May high at $60.62. At first glance, that breakout attempt looked promising, but sellers responded aggressively, and the rejection from the May high was extremely important because it pushed Litecoin firmly back below the dominant February range midpoint once again. That immediately shifted short-term momentum back toward the sellers. And this is why Litecoin now sits at such an important decision point, because the market is currently negotiating directly around this equilibrium zone near $53.23. Can buyers reclaim control and push back above it? Or do sellers continue forcing price lower? And importantly, buyers still have unfinished business overhead, because despite the May rally attempt, Litecoin still has not successfully challenged the February high at $61.19. Now, there are also two bullish price action events on this chart that stand out strongly in favor of the bulls. The first was the aggressive rejection from the 6th February structural low. That rejection showed buyers were strongly defending deeply discounted prices underneath the market. The second important signal came from the bullish 25th February Marubozu candle, often referred to as a shaven head candle because one side, or sometimes both sides, contain little or no wick. And this particular candle mattered because it pushed Litecoin firmly back above the dominant February range midpoint. That was a very strong shift in momentum at the time. Now, Litecoin's live price action is once again sitting directly around that same critical midpoint region. So the key question becomes, will buyers once again produce another strong rejection higher from this area after the recent May sell-off? Or will sellers finally force a deeper structural breakdown? One thing we do know for certain is that our proprietary alert indicator has already triggered a sell signal. And when we layer on the daily swing structure, the picture becomes even clearer. There is currently no doubt that the daily structure remains in a downtrend through lower highs and lower lows. That means buyers still have significant work to do before Litecoin can fully reclaim bullish market structure again. However, there is another level we are watching very closely right now: the second April low at $51.42. This level has become very important because Litecoin's recent live price action over the last week has repeatedly tested this region without successfully breaking beneath it. That tells us buyers are still attempting to defend this structure for now. And repeated testing of support often becomes a very important clue in crypto trading market structure, because eventually support either breaks aggressively or produces a strong reaction higher. And Litecoin now appears to be approaching one of those larger directional moments. As we continue this LTC live trading analysis, pay close attention to how Litecoin price action reacts around these Fibonacci levels and key support and resistance zones. These swing trading structures are critical for understanding the Litecoin live market structure and potential next price action move. So here are the levels traders should now be watching closely. Can Litecoin continue holding above the dominant range midpoint at $53.23? Will the second April low continue holding firm or eventually break lower? And can buyers generate enough momentum to respond to recent selling pressure and eventually challenge the May 10th high once again? Because if buyers can successfully reclaim structure from this region, the market could begin building a much larger recovery attempt. However, if support begins failing underneath price, then Litecoin may start opening the door toward another deeper rotation lower. Overall, this Litecoin live trading setup continues to show important price action reactions around major Fibonacci zones and swing trading levels. Litecoin currently remains inside a broader compression structure, but the levels we discussed today will likely help determine the next major directional move. Continue watching the LTC market structure, support and resistance levels, and the price action signals we have discussed today to see how Litecoin's live trading volatility reacts to these key levels. You are now several steps ahead of the majority of traders and investors with today's Litecoin live update. We hope we provided some value to you in this video. Join our free daily crypto trading newsletter. It's just a 5-minute read to keep up to date with our live outlook on Bitcoin and altcoins. The link is above and in the description. If you found this analysis useful, subscribe to Crypto Trading Mastery and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next daily video. Thanks for watching.